Hey, this is John Milovic, Drunk Philosopher. Tonight we are discussing night shooting. It's amazing. Seeing how the Earth travels in a 24-hour cycle, over the course of a year, half the days are, half the hours are daytime, half the hours will be at nighttime. Makes sense, right? Um, in order to be able to properly use your camera at night, this is how you're going to do it. You got to learn how to do it. This is how. What we're going to do today is go through some of the settings and kind of get a little bit of an understanding of it. Night shooting actually really was started getting developed in the 1930s. There's a French photographer named Brassai who in 1933 released his work Paris by Night. A few years later, a German photographer named Bill Bratt wound up taking the same idea to London. London, Nighttime in London, and that was released in 1938. These are both pioneers of night shooting. For more recent people, check out Michael Kenna. He did some fabulous work in the 1990s. He's also pretty easy to find via Wikipedia, Google, whatever it is. He did some amazing work through the 90s. Usually, when you shoot at night, it is going to be considered shutter shooting. For Nikon owners such as myself, the shutter is represented by the big S on top of your camera. Makes sense, right? It does. For your Canon people, it is represented by TV, time value. Doesn't make as much sense, does it? Yeah, I didn't think so. So you need a camera that you could slow the shutter. So sorry, cell phones. Most of you guys are out of this one. Sorry, can't help you. See, this is really strictly DSLR or bridge. You're gonna need a tripod. You're gonna need a remote control. And 9 times out of 10, I tend to use manual focus versus the automatic camera focusing. We'll explain that in a second why. Um, However, the tripod is imperative. However, feel free to use whatever they give you, such as railings, walls, cars, top of cars, parked cars. Um, I've kicked over trash cans to get my shot. I have used benches. Just anything stable is really what you need. Stable and with the ability to support the weight of the camera. Let's take a look at some examples of night photography, shall we? This was the first piece of night photography I've done. This is on BQE over by Montague Park in Brooklyn. This one was shot with a tripod over the railing. This was done at a 30-second exposure. My ISO was higher than I like. This is when I first started out. My ISO was at 1000. My shutter was at 30 seconds. I didn't worry about the aperture. The camera chose the aperture itself. If you take a look, the building is nice and clear. The traffic, the northbound traffic on BQE, is all blurred out. This is because the slow shutter made it so that you can't focus on any one of the cars. This is a type of example of night photography. This is the Verrazano Narrows Bridge from the Belt Parkway. Also done at a 30-second exposure. Also done at a higher than I like ISO. If you notice, right above the bridge, there's some digital noise there. If I had to shoot this again, I would do this with an ISO closer to 100 versus closer to 1000. This is from the top of the Empire State Building looking out to Long Island. ISO is at 320. Exposure time is 30 seconds. It's a nice picture. I don't really care for it just because I want it just to look a little different. I believe that with a little bit more photo processing, I could have made this look the way I wanted to, but I just didn't have the time or the patience to deal with that. But this is 30 seconds, ISO 320, with my camera resting against the edge of the Empire State Building. My favorite of the bunch. This is the Montauk Lighthouse, taken last June during a new moon, so there's no moon in the sky. This was a 30-second shutter also. This was 100%. This is 100 ISO, resting on a tripod in the middle of a parking lot. everything. I love this picture. Only problem is in the lighthouse itself, I blew out some of the white walls in the building part of the lighthouse. The shooting star is real. This was one of my favorites. If I ever have a chance, this is the one that I will print out and possibly use as a postcard one day. This is also the same Montague Park in Brooklyn, alongside the BQE, looking north of Manhattan. This one was actually shot a little different. This was done in HDR, high dynamic range. We'll cover that in future lessons. Um, this goes on an ISO of 100. I want to show here are nightclubs. Nightclubs or acts of any sort, they are very hard to shoot. Moving lights and moving people become a problem. These are some of those shots. This Snoop Dogg at the Emporium. Um, he was very active. He was moving around a lot. The lights were very random. There was also a lot of blues and greens, which don't photograph very well. I did not like how the color came out, and so I decided to change it black and white. Little tip: whenever you don't like it, change to black and white. Everybody will think it is artistic. This was ISO 2500, half a second, 1/20th of a second in terms of shutter speed. Disney on Ice at Magic Coliseum. This was so well lit that this was the equivalent of shooting outdoors. ISO 100, shutter speed 1/100th of a second. So like I said, just because we were in a controlled environment with darkness, they were well lit up that we didn't need to compensate for it. One of my friends in Connecticut, Junior Ibanez, the DJ, I wound up shooting this with a 3200 ISO, which I did not need to in retrospect. I was also shooting it with a flash. Based on the ISO number I used, this became very grainy with a lot of noise. So I decided to just get weird with it. I injected a lot of pinks, a lot of blues, and I decided, if I'm gonna mess it up, I'm gonna mess it up completely. Turns out he liked it. This was taken in a pitch black nightclub in New Jersey. This was taken at 1/15th of a second with an ISO of 2000. This is what happens when you use an LED light up close, and a model with way too much makeup. It can become very unflattering. Something like this, unfortunately, I would need to step back a little bit because I picked up every little piece of every flaw in her skin, every flaw in her makeup. The LED lights will make the synthetic hair really look unnatural and will really brighten up those eyes. Almost looks demonic. So when you use your LED lights in low lighting situations, be careful of stuff like this. So what happens when you blend slow shutter speeds with fast movements? Light painting. This shot was done with my camera resting on a bar, me using finger lights, writing my name in the sky, and then I wound up in post-process it, flipped it around so that it read this way. This was a 8-second shutter. This is ISO 100. Another example of light painting. This is very easy to do. These are the same finger lights I was talking about earlier, attached to a string and spun. I moved into a half a circle, and based on a 30-second shutter, it wound up creating a big ball in the middle of a yard. Again, 30-second shutter, sitting on a tripod with an ISO 1600. I could have gotten this down to an ISO 100, but I wasn't thinking about that at the time. This is also an example where you have to manually focus. If I had to set this up ahead of time, and I needed somebody to stand in while I focus it. I did that by hand. Night shooting can be very rewarding. It's challenging. You need to understand what you can do in the camera and what you need to do in post-process. Learn these steps, make some great pictures. Keep shooting, guys.